Welcome to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming, the podcast that explores your inner universe and invites you to fall in love with sleep. I'm Dr. Clare Johnson, and I'll help you tap into your own genius and discover the mysteries of sleep and lucid dreams. Today, the amazing dreamer I'll be talking with is Dr. Keith Hearne. He is famous for being the first person in the world to provide scientific proof of lucid dreaming. And he did this sleep laboratory research at the University of Liverpool in 1978. An internationally known psychologist from Britain, Dr. Keith Hearne devised the ocular signaling technique for lucid dream laboratory studies, and he also invented the very first dream machine. So, this is the very first device invented to help people to become lucid in their dreams. It's all very pioneering stuff. And the original sleep lab chart records from his pioneering research, along with a dream machine, are on permanent display at the Science Museum in London. Dr. Hearne is also a composer, and he's written many works, including a ballet written in collaboration with Dame Gillian Lynne, who choreographed Andrew Lloyd Webber's amazing Phantom of the Opera and Cats. He's also the founder and the principal of the European College of Hypnotherapy and a therapist who's very well known as well. And he has lectured widely and introduced several major new therapeutic techniques. Over the years, he's frequently been in the media, uh, television, especially in the UK and internationally. Dr. Keith Hearne has written 6 books, and this includes his seminal work, The Dream Machine, and he's currently working on several other books. So he's a pioneer in the field of lucid dreaming, and in my view, he's a creative genius too. He never stops creating, inventing, making music. And Dr. Keith Hearne and I first met in 2013 at the Gateways of the Mind conference in London. We were both speaking there on lucid dreaming, and we really hit it off. He was so lovely, incredibly intelligent, and fascinating to talk to. So then I asked him if he would kindly grant me an exclusive interview for the book that I was writing at the time, which was Llewellyn's complete book of lucid dreaming. And he kindly said yes. And so we then met up at the Science Museum in London so that he could also show me his dream machine. And that interview that we made that day appears in Dreamtime magazine. The following year, we led a series of talks called 40 Years of Lucid Dream Research at the Dream Research Institute in London. And in 2018, we led a workshop and gave a presentation together uh, at the International Association for the Study of Dreams conference in the Netherlands. So we've worked together a fair bit, and he's also shared some of his top secret ideas for his upcoming books with me, which sound really amazing. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with him today. So please welcome Dr. Keith Hearne. Hi, Dr. Keith Hearne. It's so lovely to see you again.
Well, Claire, I haven't seen you for 1,000 years, it seems, and it is a pleasure to see you. I really like what you do. You're creative and a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you so much. And I think you are a creative genius. You're always busy creating things,
Steady on.
inventing things, pioneering. So it's
Yes, I like
absolutely
pioneering.
oh, exactly. Yeah.
People like mountaineering. I like pioneering.
Oh, and so it's such a pleasure to speak to you today and catch up again. So yeah, I mean, maybe what's the best thing to do is that we start from the start and
Yeah,
like to tell us
sounds
about
good.
any early experiences you had in your dream life, in your, in your childhood that put you on this incredible path.
Yes, there is a line of similarities in my life about such things. When I was a child, I had vivid dreams and I was intrigued by them. I loved them. And I remember telling my mother about my latest dreams, and what really stuck in my mind was that I was able to float down the stairs in my dreams. I would, in waking life, I'd jump off a couple of stairs and to impress my mother. I was about 25 at that. I wasn't now. I was about 4 or 5 at the time,
Oh.
and but in dreams I did it, and it was beautiful feeling. Um, and I tried to in wakefulness. I tried to show my mother one day. I just cluttered down the stairs. With what was distinct for me was these two universes, these two worlds that we live in. There's what we take to be the waking world, and then the dream world. And they are both consistent, remarkably consistent, but very different at the same time. So that got me thinking along those lines right from the start.
Oh, it's so amazing to hear you talk about those experiences because I had basically the same experiences. And one of my earliest memories was floating down the stairs behind my mother. It was actually in waking life. And I was like, Mum, Mum, I'm floating. Look round, look round. But by the time she looked round, I'd settled back into my feet. And she was like, What? And I was like, Well, I was floating. I was floating. So, I mean, I really resonate with that kind of having these
Yeah,
experiences in waking life or in dreams and trying to make sense of them, knowing
yeah,
that
but
in
it is
waking life most people
wonderful.
can't float.
That's right. But it is um, a universal picture of human beings, maybe animals too, but
Yeah.
probably they, uh, all creatures can do that. I figured it out once because in my work on lucid dreams, I used to get people to jump off, say, the Blackpool Tower and count the seconds before they hit the ground. It doesn't hurt much. Gravity is about the same as that on the moon. It's about the sixth of our gravity. It's roughly, very roughly. But there's got to be a reason for that. And it could be that that is a fossil memory that we all have within us. And from that start, I've really looked at a lot of other uh, things that are common in people's dreams. And like the light switch, you could try to switch a light on in a dream. Usually it doesn't come on. And that's why it's Hearn's light switch effect, as they say nowadays. Um, I know you've done that, and sometimes you say it's the other way around or something. But and remarkable thing is, if you switched the light on or off in the previous stream of that night, that sets it for the next time. So it's wheels within wheels here, but it's so interesting. It intrigues me tremendously. There's a there are big truths to be found within dreams about the whole universe.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like you said, as a child, you realize there are these two different worlds or two different universes. These
Yes,
different ways of operating. And there seem to be one set of rules for the waking state and another set of completely different rules for the dream state. And you can
yeah.
find out more about the nature of reality and consciousness and the cosmos.
Reality seems to be a variable.
That's right. Oh, well, it's wonderful to hear about those early childhood experiences.
Let
What
me
got
tell you
you?
just one more
Oh,
because
yeah,
a
do,
few
yeah.
years later at school, um, it it was in an art lesson, something to do with art, and the teacher, she was a very lovely woman, she said, "Now, Keith, when you daydream and you see pictures," I thought, "This woman is as crazy as they come, 'cause I have no visual imagery whatsoever in wakefulness." But then other children were saying, like, "Yes, miss, I can do that." That's how we spoke then, of course. And, um, and then I realized that was a blinding realization to me that we are all different in what we experience. As I've never in my life, I still haven't in wakefulness had any imagery come to me spontaneously. But recently, a year ago, I was in hospital and I had gallbladder, which was infected and turning into sepsis.
Oof.
And I was on drugs and I was hallucinating.
It's incredible then that you had those experiences, so when you were in the hospital, of actually hallucinating really strong imagery. Because, yeah, I mean, for some people, myself included, I'll get these images, not only in the hypnagogic state, but also if I'm writing a novel, doing some creative writing, if I close my eyes for a moment, then whole scenes will appear, and then I just write them down. It makes novel writing quite easy.
When you are particularly gifted in that way, I wish it was so for me. But sort of nature compensates because I'm auditory and I'm a composer. You may have heard that rumor.
Oh, well, I never knew about that, yeah.
Um, so I'm particularly auditory, and I wish often I could visualize things, but I still can't.
Yeah, everyone's different. Amazing. But you see, that's the thing. Maybe you have this huge talent for music, for composition, because that's where the energy has gone more than the internal
There's a
machine.
certain amount of energy, creativity that have to go in some direction,
Yeah,
and it's different for different people.
yeah. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing those experiences. It's all so fascinating. And what got you into lucid dream research way back in the 70s?
Well, so I went from Reading, which was my first university, to Hull University, which is a good department there, and I was going to do a PhD on imagery, visual imagery.
Ah,
Uh, and I knew there was some physiological equipment there that might be useful in that. But when I got there, I found they had a full sleep laboratory.
ah.
So I could say to a child, there's a big sweet shop here, which you could just use it, whatever you want. So I was pleased with that.
Perfect.
Lovely. I moved one day, my location to one flat to another, and a chap called Alan Worsley did the removal. He used to go to Hull University psychology department, but some 10, no more than 10 years previously. But he'd sort of given up his those studies. He ran a shop in Hull. Um, but we got talking, and he mentioned his lucid dreams. Well, I had known about lucid dreams. I knew about them, and there he was. And I thought, oh, yes, he looks like a likely candidate to be this subject for my research. And I started to do sort of work with them. The, the problem with lucid dreams is that no one knew whether they were real, whether they actually were dreams at all, because strange memory tricks can be played in dreams, and you can think you just had a dream when it was 2 hours ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So, um, so I wired him up, and I wanted to see if I could get an event marker in the dream. If he could make some sort of signal, it would make the mark on the chart. We could identify exactly where he was in lucid dream. And sure enough, I wired him up, and micro switch takes about that much effort. No, if it's just a click it.
Yeah.
And he'd wake up and say, "Well, did you observe it?" And I'm clicking like mad. He could hear it clicking.
In his dream.
But it was an hallucination.
Oh.
Even the sounds, everything to be made was faked in dreams, but it was an illusion. I tried other methods, but it occurred to me one day that, wait a minute, this is rapid eye movement. See, if it's a dream, see rapid eye movement. See, nature very cleverly makes us paralyzed in dreaming sleep. Yeah, we were living in the trees, and you had a dream about jumping to another tree. Well, that would be bad for you.
For sure.
So nature's very clever through reaching processes. It arranges it so that it just isn't it clever of nature to do that? It makes us paralyzed, so we can dream. We can dream with swinging around in the trees and so on, and yet it's not really happening. So he thought, "Well, I'm pressing the button," but it was only a dream. It was all inhibited. But wait a minute. One day I was on the phone and I just waiting for someone to answer. And it's REM sleep. The eyes must be able to move. That musculature is not inhibited. And so I wound up and I asked him to make some eye movement signals left to right. And I think you've got some coming up on the screen now about those. The top line is brainwaves. Then you've got a line which is the seconds that are passing. Then you've got two lines which are represent the eye movements. There's another line under that which represents muscle activity measured just under the chin. And you can tell easily that is indubitable REM sleep. And this makes me feel very spooky, as I said, because it was a unique experience in the world. I was the mad scientist in the sleep laboratory looking at the polygraphic, and you see from the diagram there the brainwaves and everything. And then coming from the left, there was random eye movements. That's typical of rapid eye movement sleep. And then, but suddenly, I saw these I said, make separate signals, left, right, like that. And there they were, great big signals on the chart record.
Wow.
And it made me, as it were, double take because there I was, and there looking at this polygraph chart record, and these were signals. They were like signals for another planet, you know. That might give me something of interest. You might think in planets and stars and rockets. It really did, actually. But so those are the signals. But he, at the same time, is in his universe. You see these two universes that I mentioned. It's a huge paradox. And he was in that. He was walking around the universe. Not necessarily. I mean, university, where we were, and with his wires, electrodes on. And he thought, "Oh, I must make those signals now that I know that I'm doing me." And that's when they came out. So it makes me shake even now.
Yeah.
And it's almost 50 years later. I was a child researcher, you understand. And it was a fantastic experience. I knew that I'd unlocked a door to our inner universe. And by the way, paradoxically, that was on the 12th of April, 1975. Back in 1961, on the 12th of April, Yuri Gagarin went into outer space. Same day, this chap is going into the inner universe. The synchronicity, I've seen lots of synchronicities in life. I find them fascinating and indicating perhaps that this materialistic universe, this is not the truth. This is not the reality. Absolute reality is, I think, to do with a mentalistic universe. But you've got to stop me there because I go on forever if I talk about that.
We can talk about that a bit more later. But it's so wonderful to hear you talk about what actually happened that day, April the 12th, 1975. And
8 a.m., roughly 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I left the machine running this time.
Very wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just receiving these signals from another world, yeah, as the lucid dreamer goes about the dream, I mean, it's really quite amazing when you think
It
about it.
was remarkable, and also because it couldn't have happened a few years before, because psychology was stuck, bogged down in behaviorism. When J.B. Watson told us we can only study things that you can physically measure. And people, everyone turned into a rat person, with everyone having maze experiments, and as if that was
Yeah.
the peak of psychological research.
Well, you showed
I,
that.
yeah, well, I changed that. And then I sent my results off to Alan Reckstaff at Chicago. He was an immensely um, interesting and powerful and knowledgeable chap. Um, and we knew all about sleep research. And he wrote back very nicely, nice letter, saying that I convinced him that these were signals that were coming from a lucid dream, because it was obviously REM there, and they were coming through. So that was a big accolade
Yeah.
for me to get that backing at that time, because no one else, no matter what, how good they were, behaviorism, could deny this is a new area in psychology now. So that was a great peak in my life. I was so pleased with that discovery,
That's
and lots more things came along. Anyway, after the next often gave me that backing,
mhm.
I applied to Liverpool University. They offered me my own sleep lab there, because the whole one was being used by another member and staff. And it was brand new, what it did before. So that's really right. So I paid, well, the department paid for Worsley to come over and be a subject about once a week. Now, as you can imagine, this did have to go on for a long time, because he wasn't a very frequent lucid dreamer. Not like you, Claire, you have these things every night. So I should have known you then. It's only been about 2 or something, I suppose. Uh, what I did was to look more into what causes lucidity. And nearly everyone says it's, well, when you observe an incongruity within what's happening in the dream, some impossible thing, like you find yourself talking to a person who's been dead for years,
Yeah.
and it's all very real, absolutely real in a sense. But that triggered, you think, wait a minute, this is not possible. I must be dreaming. And with that realization, that's when you become lucid, aware of what's going on in the dream, and being conscious about it. But even more strange than that, from that moment on, whatever you think was happening before, but in that moment you can think something and it will happen. So I thought, wait, if that's how it happens, how it's triggered, something happens that is so impossible it makes you sort of double take about it. Maybe I can introduce an artificial anomaly into the dream. And I thought of all sorts of creative ways of, for instance, I would go into the bedroom and sprinkle water on the sleeping, something they get soaking wet, and they dream that washing was dripping on us. It's, silly things like that. But
Yeah, it gets absorbed into the dream. Yeah.
yes, things do get absorbed into the dream. Yes, it's holding that associations and dreams.
Mm.
No, the strangest one was when I Now, I know what to do. So I stole my wife's perfumes and looked to spray those close to the face of the sleeping, the intrepid subject. And um, I thought this will cause lucidity. But no, it still didn't. Um, as it's not specific enough in some ways. Uh, but then, getting a bit more desperate, I tried electric shocks, even though not plugging them into the mains or anything, but just little pulses, electrical pulses on this. This was an external stimulus, and if you give this is a dream. There's 4 shocks there were, and you like this, and sometimes they were they woke the person up. Sometimes they were incorporated, but indirectly. So they dreamed that a dog was biting their wrist.
Yeah.
Um, but in some, they thought, wait a minute, this is the pulses that I was told will be coming when I'm dreaming. And that will bring about lucidity for a short or a long time, but it can bring about that a crucial awareness.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing there, and this is the necessity and invention. So I thought, I got it. I will show a dream machine. I did have one here, but it's lost on everything.
Oh, we can show a picture of it later.
The dream machine. Now, and I thought, look, if I get a device which will administer shocks, and it can be varied, and there can be timers because you don't want to give the shocks immediately. It can wait 20 minutes, half an hour before they're actually administered. Well, that was okay, that part of it. But I needed a dream detector, which turned out to be the difficult bit, but it was by great diligence achieved eventually. Because I did understand that when you're asleep, there are 2 states of sleep: slow wave sleep, so-called, and then in a 90-minute, roughly like 90-minute cycle, there's REM sleep happening. And in REM sleep, the breathing rate goes up from 20, which is in slow wave sleep. So it goes up from 10 to 20 breaths. That's average because we've all got these individual differences. But it could pretty easily detect dreaming sleep. Um, uh, I thought of eye movements, but they're flickering around such a lot that is not necessarily the best way. It was the breathing which told me when the person was in the machine knew the person was dreaming, and then it would wait, and you could adjust that wait time and then keep the pulses. And again, some people, oh, they just woke them up, and some people, they they thought it was something else happening, not wanting to wake up, perhaps, as Freud would say. And, yeah, but in some, it was registered and would cause lucidity for any length of time. So this is how I devised that. By the time it was all done, I finished the PhD, though, when it was really, working on it. But I wasn't happy, thinking about selling it and so on. I'm not that bothered about money, and I would not like to rip people off in any way. So all in all, it didn't come to actually saying, because it would have cost as much as a washing machine then in those days of electronics,
Wow.
and it might not work. And then you've got lots. I didn't like the thought of it, but I think I can think of other ideas now of inducing lucidity.
So I remember when you and I went to the Science Museum together in London, and that was because I asked you if you would be happy to give me an exclusive interview for one of my books that I was working on, the complete book of lucid dreaming. And so we met at the Science Museum, and I remember as we were on our way to find the dream machine that you invented, we passed by a space station and we were looking at it, and I said, "Oh, Keith, if you ever had the chance to go on a tourist trip into space, would you say yes?" And you said, "Oh, yes," without hesitation.
I did it rather quickly, didn't I?
You did. And I loved that. I thought, well, that shows, your pioneering spirit and this desire for exploration. And let's find out more, not only about this world, but about the world of lucid dreaming or about the
Yes,
universe that we live in. It's
the outer world and the inner world again.
exactly. And then we moved on and we found your dream machine. I
Thank you.
remember looking at that dream machine. I'll put a photo on this.
That's what I will book. Yeah.
Yeah, about the size of a book, that's right. And I thought, wow, this dream machine was like a precursor for all of these lucid dream masks and other inventions to try and wake up lucid dreamers. And your
Yeah.
experiment was also the precursor for hundreds of
Yes.
dreaming
It was
experiments.
one starting point, and it
Yeah.
spread like a tree. Um,
Amazing. How does it feel to know that you were so key to that whole development?
well, it's gratifying, there's no doubt about it, but I've got other things. I'm frying other fish,
Yes.
and it's this I'm working on something special too. All the while I'm looking for something else to
No, you've told me a bit about it. I'm not going to say anything.
that twist my arm pretty strongly.
Yeah. But yeah, you keep going and you're constantly yeah, astonished and delighted and fascinated by the world and by the universe.
I'm like
So,
a little child,
yeah, well, it's
kind of
wonderful to keep that.
child.
Yeah. Keep that childlike sense of wonder. That's,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes, I like to see that in people and in children. Their eyes are like saucers.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know, it's wonderful. Yeah, so that's all pretty amazing already. Just to have talked about all of those elements to your career.
When I saw the signals, actually, we had a realization that there's like a spotlight. I was the only person in the world who'd ever studied these things in a sleep lab, the only person. And it was amazing. Um, and it makes me quite emotional still, after almost 15 years. Um, it- when I think back on it, the emotionality of that.
So Keith, I would love to see your famous PhD thesis. Have you got that to hand? Could you show us?
Well, I actually do have it two hands.
Let's see. Lucid
That's
dreaming.
that's 3 years of solid work. People know about the signals and all. It's much more than that.
Yeah.
It was I wanted to know everything about the lucid dreams. So it's it took a long time.
Very impressive.
I'm very proud of that work. Um, Actually, if the viewers are interested, what they can do is to get this free book of mine called The Dream Machine, but it describes um, my work at Hull and Liverpool universities, and
The dream machine. Yeah.
not there. This is available free, and I mean free to people. If you go to my website, which is keithhearne.com, and you can view the whole thing. And if you're very wealthy, you can download it all and read it assiduously.
Perfect.
That is the
Very
first,
generous.
well, first PhD on lucid dreams.
Yeah, incredible, historic, and oh, just amazing to see that. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Well, it's so nice to have your interest in that, your support. I know you're an avid lucid dreamer, frequent lucid dreamer.
Yeah.
And what has amazed me about you is that you are a novelist amongst all the other things. Your writing is absolutely wonderful. I've read these things, and you can, you actually can ask the characters in your lucid dreams what they're going to do, what they think of so and so, etc.
Yeah.
And that is unique. It's a whole new genre, and there should be a, a big documentary about that. Is there one in the offing?
Ah, well, I did talk about this in a documentary years ago. I think it was in one of the first IASD conferences in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewed, and they were saying, "So, what do you do with your novel characters in lucid dreams?" And I said, "Well, I call them to me. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't." And I will learn things about them. You find out astonishing things about them that you didn't expect because it's like meeting them in the flesh. You're like,
Yeah,
wow, they look different than I thought, or they speak differently, or they act a bit differently. This is like meeting a person in waking life.
yeah,
Yeah, and also kind of being able to have different experiences in dreams. Like I experienced synesthesia for the first time in a lucid dream. And then I kept practicing. Every time I would have a lucid dream, I would say, please, I would like to have an experience of synesthesia. And then I would touch something, a texture, and I would taste it on my tongue. I mean, it's crazy for someone who does not have synesthesia to experience that. And then I brought that into my novel, Breathing in Color. So it's just, it expands your universe in so many ways.
absolutely.
And what would you love to do in your next lucid dream? What would be your most exciting, amazing thing to do the next time you get lucid?
Well, I don't dream much actually now, um, unfortunately anyway, but what I would like to do, because I can't imagine it and visualize it, so could only happen in a dream with me, um, is to go to another planet.
I knew you'd say that.
Oh, that's so predictable. Um,
You have a fascination with outer space and rockets.
well, it's a bit of an obsession, right? And I've written quite a few pieces of music about outer space.
Yeah.
And there's another one, this one about Mars, dawn on the planet Mars.
It's
So
beautiful.
that'll be on the airways hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah, and you sent me the other one, which was the Starship Overture Orchestra piece, and I remember you telling me what I should imagine as I listened to it. It's a beautiful piece. It's poignant and exciting. Would you like to tell everyone what you asked me to imagine when I listened to that piece you
Yeah.
created?
By the way, I give you permission to play that
That's a
piece
good idea.
of
Yeah,
record.
lovely. Thank you.
Well, imagine a massive starship, nuclear powered and all that. And it will happen this one day, and it's in Earth orbit, it's all been constructed, and it's going to zoom off to not another planet, another star.
Mm.
Um, would anyone actually do that? Some people have to spend their whole lives, all that. Um, but that would be an amazing thing to do. They would be space travelers. And who knows? But you see, I think we're destined to actually spread to the stars. And
Yeah.
that's an amazing thought. Because are we too aggressive and nasty to go to and pollute other parts of the universe? But it will, I'm sure it will happen. Probably sooner than we imagine.
Yeah.
So that's the thought. So, and it gives a sense of what people's thoughts and feelings. And there's a tender peace, because people know they're going forever and ever and ever away from the earth. That must affect some people. Some people, it will embolden. And then in that piece at the end, there's the captain giving a statement about, look, here we are. We're now about to go into the universe, not to come back here. And that's all put together in the music.
Yeah.
It is a powerful piece. It frightens me, you know.
It's powerful, yeah.
It's, this is what's going to happen. Things that we would never have dreamed of before, actually going to other planets and stars and solar systems and galaxies. It was unthinkable, but now we are entering this unthinkable, unimaginable state. We can go to the stars. Children, you will go to the stars.
It's incredible how much things have shifted, right? If you think about it as well. 50 years ago, you were doing your research and into lucid dreaming. Yeah, and so much has changed in those 50 years, half a century, and so much change. Unbelievable.
Yes, it has. And it's sort of exponential, I think. More and more and more with artificial intelligence coming in.
Yes.
It's let's hope it gets to the politicians, you know, somebody enhanced intelligence. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, Keith, what would you love to be remembered for?
That's difficult. I'm pleased with my lucid dream work. I know that's opened up a whole new area in psychology and to our inner universe. But I'm pleased with my music. I spend a lot of time writing about that.
Yeah.
And so thinking about that and how I can get it out there. And I have another thing going on to put forward my views about how we're going to understand what's going on around us. I tend to think that we do live in a mentalistic universe, and I will be putting that view forward various ways in the future.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you. And one final question.
Yeah, right.
This is a big one, but it's kind of playful as well. What is the meaning of life?
Oh,
It's a nice, easy one to finish with.
yeah, well, what's the meaning of life? Well, I tend to think that there is consciousness and awareness in the universe that's made itself into what seems to be a physical universe. And it's unstoppable. You can't have nothing. It will automatically produce something. And there's a consciousness there which will appreciate that. But it's all fake. I think that we are in a fake world, but it fools us. And
Like
so
the dream world.
that's all that's sort of necessary in a way.
So do you think that life is like a dream then? You know, if it's kind of fake and it can draw us in and fool us, at the same time it's thought responsive and continuously creative. Is life more like a dream than most people think?
Yes, it is. But we mustn't run down the dream. I think life is a dream. And what comes after this is another dream. As the Buddhists have said for a long time. So, you know, don't ever be sad or upset about any of this, especially death. You know, people get worried about that. Because I think we go from one dream to another, possibly better dream, because we've learned so many lessons. Don't we learn lessons? So we can, what do you think you dream? So if you've learned lessons and you've told this is another life, you've got all this memory of lessons that you've learned. And so everything seems to be enhancing itself forever.
Enhancing itself forever in the conscious evolution. Yeah. Well,
Yes, that's true. That's a
beautiful.
lot of happiness for the future.
Yes. A lot of happiness and a lot of hope and spaceships flying all over the place and yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of joy.
Don't be negative about the future at all, because some people really are. No,
Yeah.
we are advancing all the time. We are evolving beautifully, but do beautiful things in life. Um, be nice to people, be kind to people, and that will progress you and other people.
Perfectly said. Thank you so much, Keith. And, I'm such an admirer of yours, and you really are a lovely, kind person. So you embody what you talk about, and you're incredibly bright, intelligent, wonderful. You've done so much in so many fields, and of course, for the field of
I think
lucid dreaming.
that's so nice of you.
Oh, you're an absolute.
I Yes, quality yourself, you show, it's all about you, because you've got those beautiful qualities, and that's very agreeable. It's
Mm.
an English thing to say. Oh, very
Yes.
agree.
Oh, well, thank you
Okay,
so much for your time and
okay.
for coming on here and for being the incredible person that you are. Thank you, Dr. Keith Hearne. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye then.
Bye.
Welcome to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming, the podcast that explores your inner universe and invites you to fall in love with sleep. I'm Dr. Clare Johnson, and I'm here to help you tap into your own genius and discover the mysteries of sleep and lucid dreams. As a warm welcome to my podcast, you can instantly download 2 free audio classes, one on how to lucid dream and the other on tips for deep sleep. Imagine for just a moment the next 10 years of your life stretching out in front of you in all their glorious potential. And now consider the fact that you're going to spend over 3 of those years asleep. We all spend a third of our lives asleep, but often people barely give a thought as to the many treasures sleep offers, like lucid dreaming, where you become consciously aware during a dream, or natural healing and enhanced memory. Sleep harbors the genius of your unconscious intelligence, which helps with creativity and problem solving. And once you get into deep lucid dreaming, you may even receive enlightening insights into the nature of time, space, and reality. These are just some of the gifts sleep brings. So why not discover more about sleep and all of the shifting states of consciousness it encompasses? This podcast seems like the best way of giving you short bursts of sleeping and dreaming consciousness, thought provoking glimpses into your inner universe to remind you that there's more to you than meets the eye, more to you than your waking self. You're so much greater than that. And this is one of the things that sleep teaches us. You have enormous untapped potential. Sleep and dreams hold the key to your potential, bringing you immense benefits and greater success in your waking life, too. This podcast will help you raise your lucid awareness in all states of consciousness and inspire you to engage with the fantastic depths of your inner life. Because so many of us sleepwalk through our lives. We miss the magic that's present in every moment because we're too distracted or too stressed to notice it. But when we engage with our dreaming mind and embrace the gifts of sleep, we awaken to the bigger picture of life. We become aware of the dreamlike nature of life itself. And we understand how best we can navigate this collective waking lucid dream, the lucid dream of life.
This podcast aims to answer your burning questions about lucid dreaming, sleep, and consciousness. You'll receive tips, techniques, and rituals you can instantly apply that same night to open up your inner universe. My passion for lucid dreaming began when I was just 3 years old. And for decades, my professional life has revolved around helping others to discover the marvelous world of sleep and lucid dreams. To give you a bit of background, I was the first person in the world to do a PhD on lucid dreaming as a creative tool. I've written 8 books, including The Art of Lucid Dreaming, Elixir of Sleep, that's my latest book, and The Art of Transforming Nightmares, as well as the massive and groundbreaking complete book of lucid dreaming. I'm a former president and CEO of the International Association for the Study of Dreams, and I'm the creator of Deep Lucid Dreaming video courses with guided meditation for blissful sleep and lucid adventures. I lead beautiful in-person retreats, lucid dream retreats by the ocean, and on my website, deepluciddreaming.com, you can receive various dream gifts, including lucid dream meditations and a couple of free guidebooks. In this podcast, we'll explore portals into lucid dreaming, restful sleep, super creative dreams, hypnagogic states, and out of body experiences. You'll gain insights into the nature of consciousness and discover how to access the creative genius of your dreaming mind. You'll start to welcome sleep every night as a healing elixir for body, mind, and spirit, and wake up refreshed and joyful. You might even learn how to make your wildest dreams come true. But we will look at the tough stuff too, such as scary sleep paralysis, where you feel like you're trapped and can't move your body, anxiety dreams, insomnia, and nightmares. I'll share my best techniques for releasing fear and guiding dreams into healing experiences. And when I was a kid, I had recurring lucid nightmares, episodes of sleepwalking, sleep paralysis. There was nobody to help me understand what was happening. I had to figure out for myself how to overcome fear and navigate the thought responsive dream reality. That early baptism of fire actually helped me to develop many original techniques to help others. So I have lots of practical advice for those of you who would like tips on how to handle scary sleep experiences, as well as tips on how to have amazing lucid dreams. I will release one episode per week, and once a month, I'll release a conversation with amazing dreamers and authors so that we can hear their stories and perspectives. And as you listen, you'll discover who you are when you sleep and dream. You'll explore the frontiers of your own consciousness, and this life of yours will become richer and happier. After all, why not expand your existence by waking up to the power of sleep and dreams? Why not tap into your inner genius? It's right there, waiting for you every night when you fall asleep. After a lifetime of personal lucid dreaming and sleep exploration, I've reached the conclusion that sleep is key to the evolution of human consciousness. When we engage with the shifting states of awareness within sleep, we can find answers to all of the big questions of existence. At any given time of the day or night, there are millions of humans dreaming. It seems to me that we continuously dream our world into being. Our genius dream intelligence enables us to process the past, solve problems, and imagine the future. While we sleep, others are world building in waking physical reality. And when they fall asleep, we take over. And so the collective dream of life continues. The world invents itself afresh in an endless stream of creative acts. This is spectacular. As you can probably tell, I'm already madly in love with sleep and deep lucid dreaming and the wondrous states of consciousness we encounter when we close our eyes at night. And my hope is that as you listen to my show, you'll fall in love with sleep as well, and that this will expand your consciousness and increase your happiness and improve your life on all levels of being. So I invite you to engage with me by subscribing to my podcast on your favorite platform, and writing a quick review if you have a spare moment. That would be very kind. And you're welcome, perhaps at the end of your review comment, to suggest a topic you'd like me to explore or a question you'd like me to answer. So I can look out for those and we can co-create this as we go along. Stay tuned and I'll help you to take your sleep and your lucid dreaming to the next level. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you deep lucid dreams.